Hi, I'm Joe, and today I have another new box from Dungeon in a Box. Let's crack her open. Alright, so last month was the Tower of the Giants. This one's a little heavy, mostly because they had a few exclusive one-shots for October that I was really excited for. So, this should have a bit of extra material in it. 2 extra one-shots. All Souls Night and Nightmares in the Dark. Ooh. And the next piece of the adventure is called Queen of the Rotting Jungle. I've been playing a lot of Morrowind lately, so fungal environments are really appealing to me right now. Let's see what we got. We've got a map. A very, very dark map. See, this appears to be some kind of dining hall, maybe with a throne at the head. Yeah, and this looks like, I don't know, some sort of cultish sacrificial pit. So that's fun. Maps, 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 maps. We got another set of maps. I don't know, but it's like a inn or a tavern or something, which is a super useful map to have. And then some kind of Blair Witch Project looking circle in the snow. I think we got our first mini that's going to require assembly. I see a head and various other pieces. It's called a Frost Devil, and we have an Ankeg. God, I love an Ankeg. It's in the box upside down, but look at it. There it is. It's upside down and backwards, so it's hard to show it off while it's in the box. But I don't need to leave it in the box, right? I'll take that as a yes. Alright. Oh, that is such a cool model. Look at that guy. Man, I'm loving the models they're throwing in with this. This one I will leave in the box because it's got a lot of little extra parts. This is the biggest sheet of these they've given me. I think it's mostly because there's a bunch of oversized ones. A couple of fungal trees, a giant parrot. I like the idea of just a giant parrot being one of the enemies you encounter. Ooh, and you will be somehow choosing between the Heart of Gaius or the Oathu colony. Oh, I think one of these isn't a terrain... Well, it might be a terrain piece. It looks like there's stuff made... There's either giant beetles or there's stuff made out of giant beetles. And either way, I'm here for it. That is cool. Alright, these look like the maps that go with the main story piece. We've got some ribs sticking up out of the terrain. We have... the photo studio where Aphrodite came out of that seashell. Trackless wastes that kind of look like, oh, there's some river in there. Cool, river surrounded by, kind of river banks. And this reminds me, if anyone played the first Baldur's Gate, there's a bit where you go into like a spider cave and there's just like a fat guy in there who somehow controls the spiders and he's like super creepy. So, there's the maps. Here's the terrain pieces, which I'm going to put together. And I found out if they're not intuitive, I was able to get in touch with Dungeon in a Box and figure out where I find how they're supposed to go together. So that's very good news. So the maps for the one-just-one-shots go back. I think my favorite one-just-one-shot so far has been, well, the only one I've done so far and read through. I really liked Clockwork Heist because it came with the skinny minis. But having some Halloween-themed ones just kind of in the hopper if I need them is very exciting too. So, I'm gonna go read through the main book. I think I might just save these in case I need to fill a Friday with a review some later date. But for now, let's give this a read through. Queen of the Rotting Jungle. First impressions, it brings together some really cool elements, right? First thing to know, and I think this happens early enough in the adventure that it's not really a spoiler for the adventure, you get shrunk down. These little ant guys you interact with are actually about an inch tall, which is a good figure to put it to because that's roughly the height of an actual tabletop mini. So the idea of the thing is, your map no longer, if you're playing on the battle maps that they included, you're no longer on a 1 foot by 1, or excuse me, you're no longer corresponding that to a real size. That's the size your characters are for this adventure. So that's kind of neat. I think that was just a good thought to just say, oh yeah, the size of your mini, that's how big you are when you get shrunk down. Go have fun on the adventure. The enemy in this, where it says Queen of the Rotting Jungle, it is a fungal thing, and I think this has a lot of potential to turn eldritch. There are a couple of encounters in here that I think I would want to specifically sequence. It's intended, and the way I've done the past ones, you kind of roll on a table for your encounters, but this one had a few encounters that I think would just work together really well. Specifically, if you find the lost Oatus, which are the name of these ant-type people, you find these lost Oatus, you're supposed to meet them, bring them back to camp. Well, there was another encounter in here that was pond. Like, you find what is our size a pond, to your size a lake that would take up to 4 days to go around. And my thought was, well, what happens if you see that pond in there? Well, there's another encounter in here that is heavy rains, right? So now the world starts vibing, the world starts sequencing in a way that feels cool, because now you go out, meet these guys, agree to take them back, heavy rains, suddenly there's a lake that wasn't there before, now you're really getting the feel and the vibe and the experience of being tiny. And, you know, just for the sake of upping the eldritch horror of the thing, I think the giant snake encounter happening while you're trying to do a lake crossing is just horrifying, personally. So maybe we'll throw that in there. You know, they walk out, they get caught in a rainstorm, they go to cross a lake, they get attacked by a giant snake that's in the water. You know, adventures. For real though, the fungal elements of this, I think you can evoke the tone of Lovecraft depending on how you game master this. Even though with a very few exceptions, I don't think he delved into fungal so much as cephalopodic. Again, there are some exceptions. I forget the name of it, but there's the one about the house with the mold patterns that kept forming and looked like the prostate curled up form of a man. All that jazz. The plastic minis didn't really seem to correlate to... didn't really have a one-to-one correlation to anything in here. I think they found pre-existing minis that fit as best as they could. Not ideal, but they're still really good minis, so I'm not really calling that a complaint, more just I preferred the months past when the minis had a better one-to-one with what you were actually experiencing and encountering. The Auroch beetles are really, really cool, and especially that you get those minis of them to assemble, so that it's like this steed that kind of feels more like a barge than a horse. Like it's got that elephant, you know, war elephant idea to it. It's not wearing a saddle, it's wearing a small, almost house. So all of that is just real neat. Overall, I think this is another winner. The fungal elements work really, really well with the jungle setting, which work well with the cultural elements they bring in about the... I keep forgetting these names, which might be a problem if I try to run this. The Oatus. The Oatu culture is really interesting and cool, and it gives you a chance to explore the town. This one didn't really give you the deep dive into the Dungeon Master's Guide that I've gotten in previous months. It more gave you a deeper dive into the monster manual than what I'm used to seeing. This pulled out some things I've never seen used in a campaign. I've seen them as I flip through the monster manual, and I haven't ever seen a DM use them. The advantage of that is it means your party will not have a established response to how to fight these things. Even if they've heard of them and can immediately visualize what you're talking about, they don't have a plan for dealing with it, and that is a good way to keep a group on their toes. So overall, really cool stuff. Like I said, the one-shots that are kind of Halloween-y themed, I think I'm going to save those for in case I have a Friday where just the mail is late, so I don't have what I wanted to review in time to review it. Any situation like that comes up, I've got some backups. So, in the meantime though, another great entry, and I am excited to see where this story goes next. Hope you are too. See y'all later. Thank you for watching. Please share the video with a friend or several friends, and let me know in the comments if there's anything you'd like to see me draw in a future video. Later, y'all!